Have you ever woken up feeling a little off? Maybe your head is foggy, your hands a bit stiff, or your heart races for a moment before settling down. It's a quiet worry many of us carry, even if we don't talk about it. Maybe you've heard that these little morning struggles are just part of getting older. But what if that wasn't entirely true? What if a small habit you can do every morning could ease those worries, and even help protect you from something much more serious, like a stroke? Stroke is one of the leading health threats for people over 65 here in the US, yet many seniors don't realize just how much power they have to lower their risk. It's easy to think it's something that just happens suddenly, out of the blue. But the truth is, there are simple things we can do each day that make a real difference. And sometimes, those things are so simple that we overlook them. In this video, I'm going to share one gentle, easy morning habit that science shows may help reduce stroke risk. Something you can start doing right away without any extra effort or expensive equipment. It's a small change that feels like a quiet act of kindness to your body. So stick around, because by the end, you'll know exactly what that habit is, and how it might just give you greater peace of mind every morning. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. It often starts without any warning. One morning, you reach for your coffee mug, and your hand doesn't quite respond the way you expect. Or you feel unusually dizzy standing up from the couch, brushing it off as just a bad day, or maybe not sleeping well. For many seniors, these small signs are quietly ignored or passed off as part of getting older. It's something almost everyone over 65 has done at some point. Shrugged off fatigue, a racing heart, or a headache that came out of nowhere. After all, we've spent decades adapting to our bodies changing. A little stiffness here, slower reaction times there. It's expected, right? But what if those subtle shifts weren't just aging? What if they were the body's quiet warning signs of something much more serious on the horizon, like a stroke? We tend to think of strokes as sudden, unavoidable, or even random. A bolt from the blue. But that's not the full picture. The truth is, that stroke often builds slowly over time, like water pressure in a pipe. And the older we get, the more vulnerable those pipes, our blood vessels, become. Why is it that the risk goes up so significantly after 65? It has less to do with age itself, and more to do with what happens to our bodies because of age. As we grow older, our blood vessels gradually lose their elasticity. They become stiffer, less flexible, and more fragile. This makes it harder for blood to move smoothly, especially under pressure. Think of it like an old garden hose. When it's new, it's soft and flexible. But over time, it cracks, stiffens, and becomes harder to manage. That's what aging can do to our vascular system. In addition, our blood tends to become a little thicker or more prone to clotting with age. That's especially true if we're not drinking enough water, which is more common than people realize. When blood clots form in narrowed vessels, they can block the flow of oxygen-rich blood to the brain, a stroke. But it doesn't stop there. Years of living with conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, or even high cholesterol silently wear down our cardiovascular system. You might be surprised to know that many people live with high blood pressure for years without knowing it. It's called the silent killer for a reason. There are often no symptoms until something serious happens. And for older adults who may not be getting regular checkups or monitoring their numbers closely, this risk quietly builds up in the background. Lack of physical activity also plays a role. As we age, it's natural to slow down, especially if we've had joint pain, surgeries, or just don't feel as strong as we used to. But movement is one of the key ways our bodies regulate blood pressure, support circulation, and keep our brains alert. A sedentary lifestyle, especially in retirement, can become dangerous over time. And here's the real kicker. Many seniors believe that strokes are just something that happens. That there's nothing they can do to prevent them. That they're unlucky, or that it's just part of the aging process. But that's a misconception. Up to 80% of strokes are preventable, according to the CDC. That means there are practical, simple steps we can take, even in our 70s or 80s, to lower our risk. So, what can be done about it? One of the most powerful steps is awareness. Knowing that age alone doesn't cause strokes, but that age combined with certain habits and conditions can puts the power back in your hands. Small changes, especially around morning routines, can go a long way. For example, simply starting your day with a glass of water helps thin the blood slightly, supporting smoother circulation and lowering the risk of clotting. If your blood pressure tends to spike in the morning, sitting up slowly, stretching before standing, and taking a few minutes to breathe deeply can all help ease the transition from sleep to wakefulness without shocking the system. Equally important is staying on top of your numbers. Checking blood pressure regularly at home, especially in the morning, helps you catch trends early. There are easy-to-use home monitors available, and your doctor can help you choose one that works best for you. Even keeping a notebook to log your readings gives you a better picture of your health over time. Let me tell you about Frank, a 74-year-old retired postal worker from Ohio. For most of his life, he considered himself tough as nails. He walked his route every day, never missed work, and didn't think much about his health. But once he retired, the walking stopped. The daily routines faded. He started sleeping in, eating heavier breakfasts, and didn't visit the doctor unless something hurt. Then, one morning, he stood up from bed and fell to the floor. No warning. A mild stroke, they said. He was lucky. But in the weeks that followed, he learned that his blood pressure had been rising for years. No one had caught it because he hadn't been checking. After rehab, Frank changed how he started his days. Now, every morning, he drinks water before his coffee. He takes 5 minutes to stretch and breathe. And he checks his blood pressure 3 times a week. It's not about being afraid, he says. It's about being aware. I wish I'd known all this earlier. And that's the point. It's not about living in fear. It's about living wisely. It's about realizing that the little things like staying hydrated, staying active, and listening to our bodies can have big impacts. Aging doesn't mean losing control over your health. In many ways, it's an invitation to care more gently and more intentionally for the body that's carried you through a lifetime. So, if you've ever told yourself, it's just old age, when something doesn't feel right, pause for a moment. Listen more closely. Your body might be telling you something important. And even if you've never had a stroke or a health scare, that doesn't mean it's too early to take care. Prevention is a quiet gift we give ourselves, every morning, every day. Because the truth is that you don't need a hospital visit or a close call to start making changes. You just need a little curiosity, a little awareness, and the willingness to try. Start small. Start now. And start with something as simple as paying attention to how you begin your day. Mornings used to be your favorite time. Maybe it still is. The quiet hum of the coffee maker, the soft light slipping through the kitchen window, the peaceful stillness before the world gets busy. But have you ever noticed that your body feels different in the morning? A little slower, a little heavier, maybe even a little dizzy? It's subtle, but for many seniors, the way we feel in those first few hours after waking is more than just about getting older. It's a signal from the body itself. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Most of us don't think twice about what's happening inside our bodies when we first wake up. We might blame stiff joints on the weather or assume that sluggishness is just part of being 70 or 80. But there's more going on beneath the surface, and understanding it might just protect you from something serious, like a stroke. Let's ask a question that might sound surprising. Why is morning one of the most dangerous times of day for your heart and brain? It turns out that your body doesn't go from sleep to full function in an instant. Overnight, while you sleep, your body cools slightly, your metabolism slows, and your blood becomes more concentrated. You're not drinking water, you're not moving. So by the time you wake up, your blood is often thicker than it is during the rest of the day. That thicker blood is more likely to form small clots, especially if your arteries are already narrowed due to age, cholesterol, or high blood pressure. At the same time, your blood pressure is preparing for the day. Normally, it follows a daily rhythm. It's lower at night and rises sharply in the morning. This is known as the morning surge. For younger people, this rise is usually well regulated. But for older adults, particularly those over 65, this surge can be more pronounced and more dangerous. Imagine a hose that's been sitting quietly all night. Then, suddenly, the faucet is turned on full blast. If the hose is old and stiff, that sudden pressure can cause problems. In your body, That pressure can strain the walls of your blood vessels, especially in the brain. That's why stroke risk peaks within the first 3 hours after waking up, a fact that surprises many people. And it's not just about blood pressure and clotting. Think about the act of getting out of bed. When you've been lying down for 7 or 8 hours, your blood has settled in a horizontal position. Standing up quickly causes a sudden shift in circulation. Your heart has to pump harder, and your brain demands more oxygen. If you stand too fast, you might feel lightheaded, which is your body struggling to adapt to gravity and flow. Add to that the drop in body temperature overnight. When we sleep, our core body temperature cools slightly, helping us rest. But in the morning, that temperature needs to come back up to support metabolism, alertness, and circulation. This temperature regulation can be slower in seniors, especially those with thyroid issues or slower metabolism due to age. All these subtle changes, the thicker blood, the spike in blood pressure, the postural shift, and the rising body temperature, happen quietly but powerfully every morning. And for those already living with high blood pressure, diabetes, or cardiovascular disease, these changes can tip the balance. That's why doctors often call the morning a high-risk window for heart attacks and strokes. It's also why many incidents happen shortly after someone wakes up, while brushing their teeth, walking to the kitchen, or even sitting down to breakfast. But here's the good news. Knowing this gives you power. It means you can plan your mornings more mindfully, giving your body the time and support it needs to make that transition smoothly. Start by giving yourself grace. You don't have to jump out of bed the second your eyes open. Instead, take a few minutes to lie still, wiggle your toes, stretch your arms, and take deep, slow breaths. This tells your body, we're waking up gently. It gives your circulation time to adjust. Next, sit up slowly. Let your feet dangle off the edge of the bed. Roll your shoulders. Stretch your neck. Check in with how you feel. No rush. You've earned the right to ease into your day. And before anything else, drink a glass of water. Not coffee, not tea, plain water. Overnight, your body loses moisture through breathing and sweat. Rehydrating first thing helps thin the blood, support circulation, and reduce that morning stickiness that can lead to clots. Even just 8 ounces of room temperature water can make a meaningful difference. If you take medications in the morning, especially blood pressure or heart medications, it's even more important to be hydrated. Water helps the body absorb medicine more effectively and reduces side effects like dizziness or fatigue. Let me share a short story about Grace, 79, a retired teacher from Oregon. She never thought much about her mornings. She'd leap out of bed, head straight for the coffee, and start folding laundry or checking emails. But one morning, she felt faint, and her husband noticed her speech was slightly slurred. They called 911. Thankfully, it wasn't a full stroke, but it was a transient ischemic attack, or TIA, a warning sign. At the hospital, the doctor asked about her routine. When he heard how quickly she moved in the morning without eating or drinking, he gently explained how risky that could be at her age. Grace now starts every day with 2 simple steps. She stretches in bed, and she drinks a glass of water before she even stands up. I feel steadier, she says. And more importantly, I feel in control again. That sense of control, of awareness, is something every senior deserves. Aging doesn't mean losing your strength. It means learning how to support your body in ways that honor what it's been through. And mornings, as simple as they seem, are one of the most powerful opportunities to do that. So the next time you wake up, take a moment. Feel the rhythm of your breathing. Let your feet touch the floor gently. Give your body the kindness it needs to catch up with the new day. Because a peaceful, well-prepared morning isn't just a nice idea, it's a life-saving habit. And the beautiful thing is, it's completely within your reach. Sometimes, the most powerful changes in life don't come from big breakthroughs or complex routines. They come from the smallest things we do every day. That's why, when it comes to reducing the risk of stroke in older adults, one of the most effective habits is also one of the simplest. Drinking a glass of warm water first thing in the morning. Now, you might be thinking, just water? Really? Yes, really. And it's not just an old folk remedy or a passing health trend. It's a practice that doctors, especially in cardiology and geriatrics, are quietly recommending more often. Even the American Heart Association, AHA, includes hydration as part of stroke prevention strategies. Why? Because the way we start our morning sets the tone for how our body functions for the rest of the day, and water plays a bigger role than many people realize. Let's go back to those early morning hours, the time your body is shifting from deep rest to wakefulness. Your blood, having gone hours without fluids, is naturally thicker. Think of it like syrup left in the fridge overnight. It moves slowly and resists flow. This is especially concerning for seniors, whose blood vessels may already be narrowed from age, cholesterol buildup, or years of high blood pressure. When thick blood tries to move through tight, stiff vessels, it increases the risk of clots, the root cause of many strokes. Now, imagine pouring a little warm water into that syrup. It loosens. It moves more freely. That's essentially what happens inside your body when you drink water in the morning. You're gently rehydrating the bloodstream, helping the blood return to a more fluid state. And warm water? That adds another layer of support. It's easier for the body to absorb, it soothes the stomach, and it stimulates digestion, all without shocking your system the way a cold glass might. But that's just the beginning. Warm water in the morning also supports circulation. When the body receives hydration early, it helps the heart pump more effectively. That means less strain on your cardiovascular system. For older adults, who may already be dealing with heart concerns or weaker circulation, this small habit can help reduce morning spikes in blood pressure, which are known to trigger strokes and heart attacks. It also helps kickstart digestion and metabolism. While you were asleep, your digestive system was resting too. Warm water signals your gut that it's time to wake up and get to work. It promotes gentle peristalsis, the wave-like motion of the intestines, helps move things along, and prepares the body for food and medication. Many seniors report improved bowel regularity just from this one change. And better digestion means better nutrient absorption and less discomfort throughout the day. But let's not just talk about the science. Let's bring it back to real life. Meet Howard, 76, a retired school principal from New Jersey. He always considered himself in decent shape, but after a mild stroke 2 years ago, his cardiologist gave him a surprising piece of advice: start every morning with a glass of warm water, before coffee, before anything else. At first, Howard laughed. I thought he was joking, he said. I mean, how could water do anything that medicine couldn't? But Howard decided to give it a try. He set a cup next to the bathroom sink, filled it with lukewarm water from the tap, and drank it while he brushed his teeth. Within a week, he noticed he felt less lightheaded when getting out of bed. Within a month, he was having fewer morning headaches. 6 months later, his blood pressure readings were more stable, and his energy improved. It became a ritual, he says now. It's part of how I care for myself. Like tying my shoes. I just do it. That's the beauty of this habit. It's gentle, it's easy, and it costs nothing. You don't need a gym membership, a prescription, or a complicated set of steps. Just a glass. Just water. Just a few moments of intention. And if you want to take it a step further, you can make this moment your own. Some seniors like to add a slice of lemon, not only for flavor but also for a mild boost of vitamin C and digestive stimulation. Others add a bit of honey or ginger, especially in colder months, to support circulation and soothe the throat. But none of that is required. The power is in the water itself, and in the habit of starting your day with care. If you're wondering how to get started, here's a simple suggestion. Before bed, fill a small glass or mug with room temperature or slightly warm water. Place it on your nightstand or near your bathroom sink, somewhere you'll see it when you wake up. In the morning, before coffee, before your medications, take a moment to sit up slowly, breathe, and drink it down. Don't rush it. This isn't another task to check off your list. Think of it as a gift to your body, your brain, your heart, your circulation. A quiet reminder that you're worth caring for. That prevention doesn't have to feel like punishment. Sometimes, the smallest rituals hold the greatest power. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Many seniors struggle with the feeling of losing control over their health. Conditions pile up. Medications increase. Energy changes. But this habit gives some of that control back. It's not overwhelming. It doesn't ask you to be someone you're not. It simply asks that you begin each day with awareness, with intention, and with a little warmth, literally and figuratively. Some people have told me, I didn't think it would make a difference. But after a few weeks, they begin to feel the subtle shift, not only in their physical body but in their mindset. When you start your day with something healthy, you're more likely to continue making good choices throughout the day. It builds momentum. It builds confidence. And for seniors at higher risk of stroke, that confidence is gold. Because it tells you, you are not powerless. You are not waiting for disaster to strike. You are participating in your health. You are choosing to live gently, but wisely. So tomorrow morning, before the coffee brews, before the emails and errands and news headlines, pause. Reach for that glass. Let the water move through you. Feel it wake up your system. And know that in that simple act, you are doing something that matters. Because every morning is a chance to start fresh. Every morning is a chance to protect your heart, your brain, and your future. And sometimes, all it takes is a little warm water, and a little love for yourself. You've probably heard the saying, it's the little things that count. That couldn't be more true when it comes to your health, especially as you get older. And when it comes to reducing your risk of stroke, a single glass of warm water in the morning might be one of the littlest, yet most powerful, things you can do. But as simple as it sounds, there's a right way, and a thoughtful way, to build this habit into your life so it becomes second nature. Let's start with a feeling you may know well, waking up and not quite feeling steady. Maybe your legs feel wobbly, or your hands are cold, or your head is foggy. You move slowly toward the bathroom, maybe grabbing the wall for balance. It's in these fragile moments, before the day has really begun, that your body is the most vulnerable, and also the most open to care. So here's a gentle question. What if, instead of rushing into the day, you took just 2 minutes to offer your body something nurturing before anything else? The first step is preparation the night before. Fill a cup, mug, or insulated bottle with warm or room temperature water, not hot enough to burn, just warm enough to feel soothing. Place it somewhere easy to reach, your bedside table, a tray by the bathroom sink, or even on the dresser near where you put your glasses. The idea is to remove friction. You don't want to go to the kitchen half asleep looking for a clean cup. You want it ready, inviting you to begin the day with intention. And yes, warm water does matter. Unlike cold water, which can feel jarring and slow digestion, warm water gently signals your body to wake up. It relaxes blood vessels, supports circulation, and helps loosen up your internal systems. Think of it like warming up your car on a cold morning. You don't slam on the gas the moment you turn the key. You give it a minute. Your body deserves the same. Now let's talk about timing. The best moment to drink this water is right after waking up, before you eat, before you sip coffee, and before you take medication, unless your doctor advises otherwise. Why? Because your stomach is empty and ready to absorb hydration efficiently. This also ensures your blood is replenished with fluid before the daily blood pressure surge hits its peak. Think of it as smoothing the path for the rest of your morning. If you like, you can make the experience a little special. Some people squeeze in a few drops of fresh lemon juice. Lemon adds a small dose of vitamin C, supports digestion, and gives the water a bright, refreshing flavor. Others like to add a slice of fresh ginger, which has been used for generations to support circulation and reduce inflammation. But here's the key: keep it simple and gentle. If you have acid reflux, ulcers, or sensitive digestion, stick to plain warm water. No lemon or ginger. Your doctor can guide you if you're unsure. Now, let's talk about how to drink it. This is not a race. You're not chugging a sports drink after a marathon. Take small, steady sips. Let the water move through you calmly. You might even use this time to take a few deep breaths, say a quiet prayer or intention for the day, or simply sit and feel your body waking up. Let me tell you about Mary, a 72-year-old widow from Minnesota. After her husband passed, mornings felt heavy and lonely. She said, "I used to just lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, dreading the day." Then one of her daughters suggested she try the warm water habit, not just for health, but as a ritual. Now, each night before bed, Mary prepares her cup and sets it by the window. In the morning, she drinks it while watching the light rise through the trees. She told me, It's like giving myself a little kindness before the world gets loud again. She hasn't missed a morning in over a year. And that's what this is really about. It's not just hydration, it's connection. With your body. With your day. With yourself. If you live with a partner or caregiver, consider doing it together. Make it part of your shared morning routine. A quiet toast to the new day. It's amazing how such a small ritual can foster warmth and presence between people. Some people like to journal after their morning water. Others stretch. Others pray. But you don't need anything extra. The habit alone is enough. The science is already behind it. And so is your heart. Of course, no habit sticks without a little consistency. So here are some tips to make this routine last. Keep your cup in the same place every night. Habit loves familiarity. Set a small reminder note on your nightstand or mirror if you tend to forget. Track it for 7 days. Just a check mark on a calendar. Watch how it adds up. And most importantly, be patient with yourself. If you forget one day, it's okay. Just try again the next. Many seniors believe they have to do something big to protect their health. But science and experience tell us the opposite. It's the small, consistent, daily choices that shape our well-being in the long run. This habit may seem too easy to matter. But remember, stroke prevention is not about waiting for a warning sign. It's about reducing risk before it builds. Warm water in the morning thins the blood, lowers internal stress, supports the heart, and nourishes your entire system from the inside out. What else can do all that in just 2 minutes, with no side effects? So tomorrow morning, when the alarm buzzes or the light filters through your curtain, reach for your water. Not out of duty or guilt, but as a loving gesture. A way of saying, I'm still here. I still care. Because your body has done so much for you. It's carried memories, endured trials, raised children, danced, and healed. It's still showing up every day. And it deserves to be supported with something as humble and healing as a glass of warm water. In the end, the most powerful medicine doesn't always come in a bottle. Sometimes it comes in a cup. Quiet, simple, and profoundly wise. Margaret had always been the kind of woman who took care of everyone else first. A retired librarian from Vermont, she'd spent most of her life surrounded by books and people. Quietly organizing, helping others, rarely pausing to think about her own needs. She raised 3 children, managed a household for decades, and after retirement, filled her time volunteering at the local food pantry and teaching reading to first graders at the elementary school down the road. But over the past few years, something had begun to shift. Her mornings started to feel unstable. Literally. She'd wake up, swing her legs over the side of the bed, and feel the room tilt just slightly. Not every day, but enough to notice. At first, she chalked it up to sleepiness, or maybe getting up too fast. She'd take a few deep breaths, steady herself, and move on. But the dizzy spells didn't go away. One morning, not long after her 72nd birthday, she stood up and felt the kind of spinning that makes you reach out for something. Anything. She collapsed back onto the bed, heart pounding, vision blurry. Her daughter, who had stopped by that morning for coffee, insisted on calling 911. Margaret didn't argue. At the hospital, the doctors found what she didn't know had been quietly building for years. Her blood pressure was dangerously high. She hadn't felt any symptoms. No headaches, no chest pain, but the numbers told a different story. The ER doctor gently explained that she had likely experienced a hypertensive episode, and though it wasn't a stroke, it was a close call. You're lucky, he told her, but it's time to listen to your body. That night in the hospital, surrounded by beeping machines and plastic cups of pills, Margaret felt something she hadn't in a long time: vulnerability. For so long, she'd been the helper. Now she was the one being helped. It rattled her. A few days later, at a follow-up appointment, her primary care physician sat her down and said something simple that would change her life. Let's talk about how you start your mornings. I want you to try something for me. Before anything else, even coffee, drink a glass of warm water. Every day. Just 1 glass. Margaret blinked. That's it? She asked, skeptical. That's it, the doctor smiled. We'll make other changes too, but trust me, This small thing will help more than you think. Back at home, Margaret hesitated at first. It felt silly, too easy. She'd spent a lifetime managing children, finances, and family calendars. Could a cup of water matter? But she tried it anyway. That night, she filled a ceramic mug with room temperature water, set it on a small tray by her bed, and went to sleep. In the morning, before her feet touched the floor, she reached for it. She drank it slowly, eyes still adjusting to the light. The warmth was surprisingly comforting. No dizziness that day. She did it again the next day. And the next. After a week, she added a slice of lemon. After 2 weeks, she began looking forward to that quiet moment with her water. It wasn't just a drink, it became a ritual, a gentle signal to her body that it was safe to begin again. 6 months later, during a routine visit, her doctor reviewed her chart and smiled. Your blood pressure looks good. Very stable. And your cognitive tests? Sharper than last time. Margaret was stunned. All this from water? If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Not just the water, he said, but what it represents. Hydration, consistency, and care. All of that adds up. And it did. Margaret noticed she was sleeping better, thinking more clearly, and even felt more balanced, not just physically, but emotionally. She hadn't realized how anxious she had become about her health. That small act of care every morning gave her back a sense of agency. She was doing something, however small, to protect herself. Now, at 73, Margaret talks about her morning water habit with everyone, from her bridge club to the pharmacist at the local grocery store. I didn't think something so simple could matter, she often says, but it changed how I treat myself. It gave me peace. She still volunteers at the school. She still loves tea in the afternoon. But mornings belong to her now. And they begin with a single cup, of warmth, of intention, of healing. Sometimes we think that changing our health means changing everything. Our diet, our exercise, our schedule, and even our personalities. And for many older adults, that thought is overwhelming. You've already lived through so many changes in your life. You've adapted to technology, loss, family shifts, and health challenges. So the idea of doing even more can feel like too much. But here's the truth. You don't have to change your whole life to make a difference. You just have to begin with one small step. One loving act. One gentle decision that tells your body, I'm here and I still care. And that first step can be something as quiet and beautiful as a glass of warm water in the morning. That glass isn't just water. It's a message. A ritual. A moment of stillness in a world that moves too fast. It tells your heart, I want you to beat strong today. It tells your brain, I want you to think today. It tells your body, I haven't given up on you, and I know you haven't given up on me. This isn't about perfection. You don't have to do it every single day at the same time. You don't have to follow a long checklist, take notes, or track it on an app. Just begin. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe right now. And if you forget, that's okay. You can always begin again. Because caring for yourself doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as rising slowly, reaching for that cup, and taking a few sips of warmth before the day begins. The beauty of this habit is that it meets you exactly where you are. Whether you live alone or with a partner, whether you're in perfect health or managing chronic conditions, whether you're 66 or 86, it fits into your life without asking you to become someone you're not. And over time, this one small act begins to ripple. You might notice you feel more steady. You might sleep better. You might remember to take a walk later or drink more water throughout the day. It's like planting a seed. Simple, quiet, full of potential. You might not see the difference after day 1, but you will feel it in the long run. And perhaps most importantly, this habit gives you back something many seniors long for but don't always name, a sense of control. When our bodies begin to change, and the world around us moves too fast, we can feel like life is happening to us instead of with us. But every time you make a gentle, intentional choice, you reclaim that power. You remind yourself that your health is still your story to write. Margaret, who now drinks her warm water every morning before watching the sun rise through her Vermont window, says it best, "I didn't need a miracle. I just needed a pause, a breath, to remind myself that I'm still here. Still living. Still choosing." So let me say this to you now. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are not helpless. You are wise. You are capable. You are the author of your next chapter. And if all that begins with a cup of warm water, let that be your first word, your first step, your quiet promise to yourself. Tomorrow morning, before the world wakes up, take a moment. Drink slowly. Breathe deeply. Smile softly. Because this is not just a habit, it's a new beginning. And your heart, your brain, and your beautiful, resilient body, they're ready for it. Sometimes we search for big answers, complicated solutions, or expensive treatments to stay healthy, especially as we grow older. But as you've seen today, one of the most powerful habits to support your heart, your brain, and your overall well-being doesn't require any of that. It only takes a few moments each morning. And a simple glass of warm water. This isn't about trends or tricks. It's about listening to what your body needs. Hydration, circulation, calm. It's about starting your day with intention instead of rushing. It's about choosing to care for yourself gently, one small step at a time. You don't need to change your entire lifestyle overnight. You don't need to aim for perfection. All you need is the willingness to try, one morning at a time. And as you keep showing up for yourself in this quiet, steady way, your body will begin to respond. You may feel more balanced, more energized, more confident, and most importantly, more in control of your health and your life. So tomorrow, before the coffee, before the chores, before the noise of the day begins, pause. Reach for that cup of warm water. Sip it slowly. Let it become your moment of peace, your act of self-love, your gift to the day ahead. Because staying strong, staying clear-minded, and reducing your risk of stroke, it doesn't have to start with something hard. It can start with something warm. And it can start with you.